Hey everyone, it's kayflye and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. Today we're going to be building a modern home in the desert for the entire family, and this video I decided I wasn't going to limit which packs I was using and I wasn't going to put myself on a budget. I was just going to build kind of whatever I wanted, and I had a ton of fun making this. And also, as a completely and utterly shameless plug, if you enjoy watching Sims 4 speed builds and you are not subscribed to my channel, you should totally subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. I post primarily speed builds, and if you think you'd enjoy that, you should totally check them out. But enough of the plug and more about talking about the video. This house actually took me, I think, the longest out of anything I've posted to my YouTube channel so far. It took about 3-ish hours for me to build this, and even when I put the entire video on 8x speed, it was still way too long. So unfortunately I did have to cut out a bunch of stuff, mostly putzing around with the exterior, putzing around with some of the indoor decorations, but mostly everything is still in there. So if you're worried about missing out, no worries. But it was hard to figure out kind of which wallpapers I wanted to use actually, especially on the exterior of the house. I think I cut it out of the video, but I think I tried about 15 different brick patterns on the chimney because I just couldn't decide which one I liked. And I was looking at a reference photo and I really wanted it to look like the reference photo. I got a little stuck on that and I just kept trying to make it work and it just wasn't working. So then I just decided to use something that, just like, whatever, I'll just use whatever feels right. And that was those bluish bricks that I ended up with. And I was also trying to avoid using the eco lifestyle wallpaper because I use that in, I think, every single modern house I build. Unless I'm doing one that's base game only, obviously. So I wanted to do something that was at least like a little bit different. And I think I somewhat succeeded. If you think I did, you should comment down below. And if you think that this house is lousy, I guess you could also comment down below. But hopefully you like it. I also tried to do like a little bit of a different layout, just kind of in terms of the kitchen format and the way the whole house is laid out, just so that it's not the same as every single other modern house that's on my Sims 4 gallery. And speaking of my Sims 4 gallery, I post all my builds there, so if you're watching this and you're thinking like you want to play in this house and you'd like to download it, you can just download it. My Sims 4 gallery handle is the same as my YouTube channel name. But I use a lot of Dream Home Decorator, and I think of quite a bit of Snowy Escape in this house, along with a few other packs. I really like the size of the windows from Snowy Escape, because they're a little bit smaller than the Eco Lifestyle ones, so I feel like they don't dominate the wall quite as much, which I like. But you can see here, I really, I was really struggling to figure out what vibe I wanted, because I had all this light wood, but then I felt like it was getting maybe a little bit boring, and then I'd try to switch it up a little bit, and then I'd decide that it kind of clashed. So definitely I went back and forth a lot with what I was doing, but I think I like the vibe of it in the end. It also took me a while to figure out the layout of all the rooms. So downstairs we have the living room, the kitchen, a big bathroom, as well as the master bedroom, and there's also a little bit of space behind the stairs that I ended up just filling in with a platform. I do have the laundry day pack, but I just didn't really feel like putting the laundry into this house because it's something I don't love playing with all the time, and I also just didn't want to add it in just for the sake of adding it in because I could and it would be functional. So if you're the type of person who likes playing with laundry day, there's plenty of space in a few of the bathrooms where you could add in a washer and dryer pretty easily. But yeah, this is the master bedroom. It has an ensuite bathroom with a shower bath, and then it also has a little walk-in closet and a desk with a computer on it. Pretty nicely sized room. Have this big bathroom downstairs, and then upstairs we have 3 other bedrooms. So one of them is a toddler room / nursery. Another one I was kind of imagining as like a kid's room, and then the other one I was imagining as kind of more of a teen room. But you could obviously adjust this to whatever type of family you have living in here. You can easily like just make the bed into a bunk bed if you have an extra sim, or you can convert the nursery into an office space if that's kind of what you need for your setup. And then also upstairs have this big kind of like kid hangout playroom space, which I thought was super fun because then, you can imagine that your kids are playing upstairs, parents can hang out down in the living room and like the kids aren't in the way. And I also built this house with a toddler in mind, so there's toddler toys as well as a toddler potty on each floor, so that way your poor toddler doesn't get stuck on one floor or the other with no potty. Figured that would make life a lot easier. It's personally how I like to play. But when I'm building, especially a more complicated build like this, I tend to first I'll figure out kind of the approximate floor plan, and then I'll start putting in kind of the bigger furniture items like beds, desks, bureaus, couches, TVs, all of the kitchen stuff except for clutter, dining room table, basic bathroom furniture. And then I'll slowly go through and just like add a layer of detail. So I'll go and I'll add in all the flooring and all the wallpaper. And then I'll usually start cluttering up the rooms and adding some more wall decor, as well as just other miscellaneous clutter items as I think of them. And then occasionally I'll see an item and it'll remind me of something, and then I'll go like pop outside, put something outside, or I'll go pop to another room. But I tend to kind of go very systematically through it just so I don't forget to decorate anything and leave anything kind of looking unfinished. Although recently I have been guilty of forgetting to put trash cans places, but I did remember for this build to put trash cans, so I was very relieved to not forget them. And then in the kitchen house, I wanted to do like a cool little open shelving moment, and I just couldn't quite get it to work the way I wanted to. I tried so many shelves, and I ended up just keeping this eco lifestyle one. And then I'm just putting some clutter on that corner counter since there's plenty of spaces for your Sims to cook. So I wanted to make the kitchen feel realistic and have it had everything you kind of needed. And then I think I changed my mind on what I wanted to put on that corner counter. And then just cluttering up the kids' room too. And making sure there was a trash can inside. And I thought something would slot onto that little shelf on that end piece, and it turned out it didn't, and I just didn't want to go through the effort of trying to maneuver something in there when you couldn't really see it. Felt like it wasn't really worth it, so I just decided to leave the shelf empty. I also put 2 trash cans outside because I like to pretend that like one's trash and one's recycling, because that's kind of what I have in my neighborhood. Then went into kind of adding, like I said, another layer of detail, so putting in rugs, putting in a bookcase. Also tried to figure out what I wanted from that space, and I ended up using this lamp from Tiny Living. And that's the other pack that I use a bit of, a Tiny Living. And then I used, let me think. I used a couple of City Living items, and I used the stairs from Spa Day. But you could easily replace those with other stairs if you don't have those exact packs. And I think the City Living items, I didn't use very many of them, so can pretty easily adjust and replace a couple of items if you're only missing a few of them. It's also struggling with this bedroom layout because I want it to be fun, but also kind of keep like the minimalist modern feel and not have too many bright colors. Although I do realize I do have a bright yellow couch, but that's also pretty much the only thing exciting in that room. I'm also imagining that like the mom in this household is like very into like her makeup and like her nail polish. I put a lot of that clutter on the desk. I'm just kind of like imagining what type of Sims lived here, and I was like imagining that one of the kids is really into sports, and has like all these soccer balls and like basketballs around their room, and then another one of the kids is like very girly and like loves pink, and like the whole room is pink, and then also is like super into music, so there's some music posters in the room, and there's a Freezer Bunny guitar, and I just felt like those were kind of fun details. So you move your Sims in and you feel like the house already has a little bit of personality. But you can also always change things if you decide that actually you want one of your kids to be like really goth, and you want to make a room like super emo and have it clash with the rest of the house. That'd actually be kind of funny. See here, I'm just putting in some more details into the bathroom, trying to make the bathrooms not too boring. And then just cluttering up the kids' room, adding some posters, adding some paintings and mirrors to the walls. This is that little playroom that I mentioned. It has like a dollhouse and that tent from Dream Home Decorator. And then there's also this huge deck space. I didn't put too much furniture out here because I wanted there to be plenty of room for you to put stuff depending on what type of Sims family you're playing with. But it has some lounge chairs, has some planter boxes, and then on the back deck I put a little chess table so that way if your Sims need to build their logic skill, it's already built out. And then the backyard, of course, has a nice pool. And it has, I couldn't resist putting that jump tower in, or the splash tower, rather, I think it's called, from Get Together. Because, I don't know, I feel like my Sims have so much fun. And if this was my house, I would definitely want a splash tower like that. Because it looks totally awesome. And of course we have a pool float, because what type of pool is complete without a little whale floating in it? You know, I don't really know. But I just put a couple other items just around. I think that's on the gallery. This is going to come up as I used a ton of packs. But like I said before, a lot of them I only used 1 or 2 items from. So if you don't have that, you know, you're still going to be able to play in this house pretty well. And then for the landscaping, initially I was going to go for some like manicured lawns. But then I was thinking, I'm like, maybe these Sims, like, they don't want just manicured lawn. They want to have like lush like greenery in their yard, even though they live in the middle of Oasis Springs, because they live in this big fancy modern house, and they just, you know, they don't really get the whole environmentally conscious thing. And so I made this kind of like overgrown garden in the front, and then the rest of the backyard doesn't really have as much landscaping. There's just going to be one palm tree out there, and then another plant kind of by the driveway area. But I really liked this like overgrown, very colorful landscaping in the front of the house. I felt like it gave it a lot of character. It was also a little bit different than the landscaping I usually do, so that was fun to use totally different plants. And also I think that the leafy green like ground plant, Naupaka or something from Island Living, that's got to be one of my top favorite plants in the game for outside. There's me trying to figure out which tree I want to use, or if I just want to put a woohoo bush out there. Decided to go for a cute little palm tree. And then just putting a mailbox, and then I went into debug to look for a car to put in the driveway, and I kept putting different cars out because I couldn't decide which one I wanted. You'll probably watch me scroll for a little bit and try to figure out what type of car do I want to put in here. But anyways, while I'm scrolling, I just want to do another shameless plug. If you are enjoying this video and you still haven't subscribed, you should totally subscribe. And if you have, I'm sorry for harassing you so many times. But I kept putting different cars out because I wanted to find one that was like kind of glitzy looking. And I'd find one, and then I'd change my mind, and then I'd put a different one in. But yeah, anyways, this is the build. This is what it looks like from the outside. And then we'll go do a top-down look at the floor plan. So this is from above. Here's the second floor. And then there's a first floor. So it's got like a big open floor plan, and it has 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. And it's on my Sims 4 gallery if you would like to download it. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye!